Hey guys, this is Brian with Top Notch Lawn Care. You're listening to the Lawn Care Business Success Podcast.
You're listening to the Lawn Care Business Success Podcast,
the weekly show sharing proven methods and systems
in marketing, equipment, and customer service, educational and motivational,
to help make your lawn care business
an overwhelming success.
Now here's your host,
Julio Tomei. Welcome, Lawn Care Nation, to another episode of the Lawn Care Business Success Podcast. I'm your host, Julio Tomei, and this is episode number 132, entitled Interview with Brian Shain from Top Notch Lawn Care. Well, hello, everybody, and thanks again for joining me this week on another episode of the Lawn Care Business Success Podcast. I really appreciate you guys tuning in each and every week, as always, as well as any questions and comments you guys have been sending my way. And also, just a big thank you to you guys that have taken the time out to leave a review on iTunes. I really do appreciate the time and effort that it does take for you guys to go out of your way to do that for me and the show. So this week's interview episode is one that has been in the works for quite a bit. I think I originally reached out to Brian at the beginning of the season of 2017. Unfortunately, with the season starting up, timing with work and the jobs coming in, we just could never find the right time where we were both available to do the interviews, and decided to put it off until the next or the end of the 2017 season to get that or this interview done. But fortunately, it all worked out, and when I reached out to him again, he was more than willing and excited to come on the show and do the interview. So I'm going to just play the podcast announcements, and then we'll get into the interview in its entirety right after this. So stay tuned. Hey guys, if you have any questions or comments about the show, I'd love to hear from you. You can head on over to lawncarebusinesssuccess.com/contact. And while you're there, why not join my mailing list and get access to a free PDF document of a landscape maintenance contract you can feel free to copy and use in your own business. For you Instagram users out there, be sure to follow me at Lawn Care Business Success. And if you haven't checked out my videos yet, well, what are you waiting for? Be sure to subscribe to the Lawn Care Business Success YouTube channel. Now, I know you guys love listening to audio while you work as much as I do, so I've partnered up with Audible to offer you guys a free 30-day trial and 2 free audiobooks of your choice. There's no long-term commitments, and you can cancel anytime. And get this, even if you cancel during your free trial period, you still get to keep the 2 free audiobooks. It's a great way to try the service and to see if Audible is right for you. So why not give it a try? Head on over to lawncarebusinesssuccess.com/audible. Now back to the show. Okay, so I'd like to welcome Brian Shain from Top Notch Lawn Care to the show. Hey, Brian, how's it going?
It's going good. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. I just really want to thank you. I know we've been trying to coordinate this for a bit. I think I've been trying since the beginning of the spring to get you on. Of course, on my part, timing was wrong, trying to get you just before the season was starting. But I really do appreciate you, coming onto the show and giving us some of your time.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it. And yeah, I kind of wish I would have done it back then, because I kind of know what I'm missing now. I'm really kind of getting excited, and I'm nervous, and just kind of it's something new. I think I've only done 1 or 2 of these in the past, and getting interviewed is definitely an honor. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. So we're going to go at this from the point of view that the perspective that somebody that doesn't know you.
Okay.
Now I'm sure everybody listening to this knows who you are. They probably, are all subscribed to your YouTube channel and all of that, but we're going to sort of go about it from the opposite side. So maybe starting from the beginning, tell us a bit about yourself and your business.
Okay. I'm just a little bit over 40 years old. I'm kind of a late bloomer in the lawn care business. I worked part-time with a company since I was probably 14 or 15 years old, just kind of on their summer mow crew. And, I did that for a long, long time, and then just kind of realized that, hey, why don't I try to do this on my own? I can probably make more money and have more fun. And so that's kind of how I got started with lawn care. And, I'm been married for 20 years now, almost 20 years. I got three great kids, getting older, and it's making me feel a lot older now. I got one graduating high school this year. I cannot believe that.
No.
So yeah, that's Tyler. He's actually been in a few videos, and so yeah. I mean, I do work another job. I've worked at Cessna Aircraft for almost 20 years now, and
wow.
So that's kind of my first big job, and I've stuck with it, and I really like it. And that's kind of the struggle I'm in right now, is kind of what to do, because I have two things that I really enjoy in my life, and two things that actually, make me decent money. And, there's going to come a point in time to where I'm going to have to make a decision, because I'm getting older and I just can't keep doing this for too much longer. So, but yeah, that's kind of the short story of kind of me and kind of where I'm at.
Oh, that's cool. So at the Cessna job, what do you do there?
I work at the Wichita Citation Service Center. Basically, we maintenance all the airplanes that are in use right now, and I work in the parts room. So the best way to explain it is, if you walked into O'Reilly's and you wanted to get a part for your car, that would be me behind the counter, except we do airplane parts.
No, that's so cool. So, and you've been doing that, like you said, for quite a long time now, 20 years, you said?
Yep. It'll be 20 years in June, I believe, if my math is right.
Okay. So that brings me to the lawn care side of it. So that sounds like, obviously the lawn care started as a side hustle.
Not really a side hustle. I guess you could say it is. It kind of started as a side hustle, but very quickly I landed a really big account. So it ended up really, my first season was basically full time, because I landed a big account. And so I've had employees from the get go. I've never really been solo. And, a lot of times I wish I was solo, because a lot less stress, I think. But, but yeah, I mean, so I kind of hate to say it's a side hustle, because it is a full-time job. And so basically I have two full-time jobs, is the way I like to explain it.
So how do you manage the time between the other? Is the other job like a 9-to-5 job, or is it just certain days of the week? Or
right now I'm on a 3-12 schedule. I work 3 days a week, 12 hours a day, and so that allows me to have 4 days to where I'm not at that job, and so that allows me to run my business. And I've kind of went back and forth with some different shifts, different schedules, to kind of see what works best. And this has always worked best for me. So this is what I'm going to stick with for a while. And excuse me.
Okay. That's cool. That's very similar to a lot of the firefighters and stuff that you see doing lawn care in that same regard, as far as the hours and stuff go. So you mentioned that you had been doing some lawn mowing for quite a few years before starting out. So what first attracted you to the lawn care industry?
Honestly, it was my dad. My dad worked for the company that I used to work for. And he got me started at a young age, just kind of a side job, or just a job when I was young, and, got me in there. And then I've been with that company for a long time, kind of part-time for, 20 something years. And, I did a lot of stuff there. We mowed yards. We did what guys call make readies on rentals. We fix up rentals and things like that. So, this company was it's a big company. They build houses, but they also have a lot of rentals, and they basically hired their own mow crew to take care of their rentals. We didn't go and find different jobs or anything like that. We just mowed their own rentals. So, made it real easy. We was mowing the same properties every week, and they weren't going to change. And you know what I mean? There wasn't any new properties that come up unless they built something new or something like that. So it's a little bit different lawn care job than what most guys are used to, I think. because like I said, we just did what their properties, that's all we did was their properties.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So,
okay. So that's, that's got you into the start, your dad, getting you in there.
mm-hmm.
And then, so what made you, you briefly touched on, in the introduction there, of going out on your own. So what was that, like reason for you, to go from working from somebody else? And
yeah, I think I just kind of I thought about it for a while, didn't know how to go about it, didn't know how to do it. And, here I am working for this company, part-time, throughout the mowing season, and, I'm making $12 an hour, let's say. And I think I ended up topping out there like at $13 an hour. That's just, that's good pay for lawn care around here. And then, I have a wife, and at the time my wife wasn't working. I have, my oldest boy has autism, so she would stay home with the kids and she would take care of all that kind of stuff. And I was like, it just didn't make a whole lot of sense to go work for somebody for $12 an hour, $13 an hour, why don't I just try to do this on my own? I think I can make more money. I think I would have more fun. And, why not just try to do that? And that's what I ended up doing. And so far it's worked out pretty well.
Excellent. So, and you mentioned that one of my questions here is, do you have any employees, or are you a one-man operation? You said that you've always had employees.
Mm-hmm.
So has it been consistent with the same employees? I know there's been, through watching your videos, there's employees that have left and then come back and left again and all that. So maybe talk a bit about the employees.
Yeah, the employees has always been my biggest struggle. It's very hard to find employees, and I shouldn't say it's hard to find employees. It's hard to keep employees, because this is a seasonal job, and the employees know. And I try to be as upfront as possible with these guys when they come in. I'm like, look, come November, you're probably going to be out of a job for 3 or 4 months. I just want to be, I don't want to lead anybody on. I don't want anybody to think that they're going to be, here year round, because it's just not the case. We just don't have much winter work. And, it's just the nature of the beast. And so for that reason, I think I've had, a lot of turnover. Guys tend to leave towards the end of the year. And I think what, all that is, they know they're going to be laid off here in a few weeks. So they're really actively searching for jobs, and they find one and they leave. And I don't blame them one bit, honestly.
Yeah, of course. So this next question I love asking, because I get a different answer from everybody. And it's exactly why I asked the question, because most people will think that just off the top of their head, especially people that are not self-employed, will think that it's this particular answer. But when you ask self-employed people, the answer is always different for everybody. And that is, how would you, Brian Shain, define success?
Man, it's kind of a tough one. I think most people would put it as a dollar amount. I do think dollars plays a part in it, because if you're not making money, you just can't do what you want to do. So, but for me, I think the biggest thing is just, honestly, it's building something that I'm proud of, building something that can live on past me. And that's kind of always been my goal. Is I want to build a company that I'm proud of, that my family is proud of, that my family, if they choose to, can, take over when I'm gone, or, be a part of it, or whatever they want to do. And, that's kind of how I define success, would be just kind of, be remembered, or have something to leave whenever you're gone. And so something that lives on without you.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great answer. And like I said, that's why I love asking it for everybody, because everybody gives a completely different answer. But like you mentioned there as well, somebody who's not entrepreneurial, the first thing they think is money. And that's all that that's the only thing that it's about. So what type of equipment do you use in your business?
So sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
So equipment wise, mowers, I run predominantly Walker mowers.
Yeah.
I've had my bag and walker I bought brand new when I first started my business, whenever I landed my big account, because that's what that's what they actually required, a lot of bagging. So,
Okay. Yeah.
and I've used them a lot before and I love them. So that's what I ended up going with as my main mower. And then I ended up buying another walker. I got a few X marks right now, stand-ons. Actually, I only got one. I forgot. I ended up trading one in. But I got a 36 X mark that we use for backyards and small gated properties. And I just traded in my 48 X mark for a 52-inch Skag V ride. So, mower wise, that's kind of what I run. And then, handheld stuff, I'm predominantly a steel guy. That's just what I'm used to. I don't fully believe that one's better than the other. That's just what I'm comfortable with. It's what I kind of know how to work on. I kind of know what the problems are. I know how to fix them. Yeah. That's just what I'm comfortable with. But I am kind of starting to get into some other stuff. I do have a few pieces of Echo equipment now, and but that's predominantly what I have.
Okay. Yeah. I'm very similar to you in that respect as far as the equipment goes. I've always used steel stuff. And like you, I'm a part of that Echo UAG program. So getting my first sort of taste of Echo, and I have to say for the most part, it is quite a bit different feeling to the steel stuff. You wouldn't think so. You would think, a trimmer is a trimmer, but they are completely different animals. And a lot of time it comes down to that muscle memory and what you're just used to in using. And likewise, as far as, I don't think there is a perfect piece of equipment. I think they all have their, issues, their pluses and minuses for every brand. As much as I've used steel, the 4MX motors, their valves just drive me nuts with the going out of adjustment all the time and having to constantly adjust them and stuff. And the Walkers, fantastic mowers. I love Walker mowers. I have owned one in the past that I bought brand new in 2007, MT23 GHS. And you it for about 4 seasons, ultimately before ending up selling it because of the conditions here we get here in the sort of Pacific Northwest area. It's just so much rain throughout the year that the ground is always soft, and the walker with the blower on the bottom and the sort of low ground clearance, it would just always get stuck for me. I'd pull it on the lawn and it would just sink because the lawn was soft, and then I'd end up just tearing a big hole in the lawn trying to get the thing unstuck. So ultimately ended up selling it, and every leaf season I'm reminded about maybe I should have kept it just for doing leaves.
I actually did a video just a couple days ago to where we were just doing a regular leaf cleanup, and I had ran over a stick or a branch or something that was kind of buried in some leaves, and it bent my blower fan, so it seized up on me, and we had to. Obviously, we still had to finish the job, so we got out the rakes and the tarp, and we did it the old-fashioned way. And man, after that, it made me love my walker even more because I've done that kind of stuff in the past, rakes, and that's how you do things. But you get used to having a walker at your disposal, and when then all of a sudden you don't have it, you're like, man, I really love that machine.
Yeah, I know. I was actually watching that video, and I was laughing when you were saying, "I have not worked that hard in a while."
Yeah, I haven't.
Yeah. And the other part I liked about it was the camera angle you had there. You're trying to look for what the problem was, and you could see the gears turning in your head, and you're like, what to do, and you could just see as an entrepreneur thinking about, okay, we can rake it, but I've got this equipment back at the shop, I got this we could try using, and just going through that whole list in your mind as you're sitting there like tapping your fingers, looking at it, trying to figure out what's to do. And I think you made the right decision there in the end, considering it was the last day for you, the last cleanups. just to get it done. And, your employee wasn't too happy about it, I guess, but
no, he didn't care for that too much. Luckily we actually ended up having another one to do that we didn't get done that day because that one just took so long, and ended up having a friend of mine come by and look at mine, and he showed me an easy way to bend them fins back out.
Oh, okay.
So the next day we ended up doing the other one, and the guy I had helping me, my lead guy Brett, he was like, man, I'm so glad we have that walker today because I would not want to rake all these up.
Yeah, no kidding. So actually, my next question was, what is your favorite tool and why? But I'm guessing the walker is it?
Yeah, my bag and walker is definitely my favorite. I like it because it's just so versatile. In my area, I can bag. I mean, in my opinion, just from the mowers that I've used, the cut is just the best I've seen. Especially when you're bagging, it just raises that grass up, cuts it nice and clean. But if I don't want to bag and I'm kind of in an open area, I can open the box up and I can do it that way, and I can do leaf cleanup. So it's just very versatile, and that's why I like it. And I use it on a lot of different stuff, and even stuff that I'm not even, they don't even really care if I bag it or not. I still end up using it just because I like it. I like using it.
Yeah.
It makes my life a lot easier using it, and that's just why I like it so much. And hopefully here in the near future, I'm thinking about maybe getting a second one. So.
Yeah. So what was it you that posted the picture of the like gray and black one on Instagram?
Oh man,
So where did you find that?
I found that
is that
some guys have been talking about that in one of the Facebook groups I'm in. It's a walker Facebook group.
Okay.
They've been talking about that one for a while, and somebody posted that picture. And just a little background, walker, this next year, 2018 in July, they're having a birthday for Walker. And I think what it is, it's their 150,000th machine that they've built. So they're having a big Walker mower birthday out in Colorado at their facility. And I think what this is a kind of a deal they're going to promote with the birthday, kind of like a special edition type mower. And from what I hear, it's going to be a little bit more expensive than what you would normally buy that machine at, because it's like a special edition type thing. But, I'm not really willing to pay, more for just a special edition and a fancy paint job. But, but I would definitely love to have one. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, that was very nice. I know their last they had an anniversary one or something before, but it was like a chrome edition, and I wasn't too keen on that one. It had like some chrome wheels and some other chrome bits on it, and I was like, it's not thing. But that black one, I was like, whoa, that's the stuff.
Yeah, it actually gave me some ideas, because I was actually wanting to take mine apart this year. I wanted to do it last year. I just kind of put it off and ran out of time, but I was wanting to take mine completely apart, my deck and everything, and repaint it and kind of get it all looking good again. And it kind of maybe gave me a couple ideas I might have to try.
No, there you go. Have a custom walker.
There you go.
Yeah, they are definitely great machines. But I was like, where did that picture come from? I have not seen one like that.
Yeah,
that is so cool.
I stole it. I stole it.
There you go. So do you offer any other services that are not lawn care related for your business?
Not really. I am trying to start getting into some remodeling and things like that. I've talked about that a couple times on my channel the last couple weeks, and we got a couple projects going on right now. One of them's at my house, but just actually down the road from my house, we're doing a complete remodel of this house. And we're basically gutting everything, the kitchen and the bathroom, and we're going to replace everything. And that's something I want to get into, because I want to find a way to keep my employees busy year round. And that's something I know a little bit about. I'm not too handy, but I mean, I can work on some stuff, and I can fix some stuff. I got a long history of painting. I used to paint a lot and things like that. So I thought, well, why not kind of use kind of a little bit what I know and maybe get started in that. So, and like I said before, with employees, the hardest thing is, just keeping them around, especially the good ones. You don't want to lay off, but if you don't have any work, you really just don't have any choice. So this is by far the latest I've ever had anybody employed with me. And the biggest reason is because we've picked up some jobs that we normally wouldn't do. So I'm going to try to keep him on as long as I can. And, and he's definitely, expressed the interest in wanting to come back and work for me next year. So I'm definitely trying everything I can to kind of keep him going and keep him employed. So, but that's something I'm looking into trying to do, and who knows where it's going to lead, but so far I'm liking it.
Oh, excellent. I've heard the phrase once when I first started in lawn care full time. I bought a franchise lawn care business before deciding after a few years that I didn't really like the franchise system and could ultimately do it better on my own. But the main franchisor guy used to always say there's acres of diamonds everywhere. Mm-hmm. And what he was referring to was just the amount of work out there if you're open to it and looking for it, and being able to say diversify from just cutting lawns. Yeah. And that once you build that reputation with your customers, that trust, and you just open up to them that you are available for other things outside of the lawn care box, that you'll see that they'll start to have tons of handyman type projects around the house that they are more than willing to give to you because you've already have that relationship. They already trust you, rather than them searching around for that. And I know that their whole, that franchise system, at least their whole model is built on that. And guys here at least can work all year long if they're willing to, just doing other projects, building decks, fences, all that sort of stuff, painting insides of houses, painting outsides of houses, doing whatever, hanging Christmas lights, all sorts of stuff. If you're comfortable doing it, there's, it can open up a whole other side to the business without it being just lawn care.
Yeah, and I actually have a vision of kind of some things that I've been thinking about for about a year now, and I kind of wanted to get into all the other different service industries out there, kind of like plumbing, fences, and things like that, and kind of have different crews set up for those specific services. And that's kind of what I'm kind of thinking about maybe trying to do. And, and that way I can, just kind of tap into every service industry out there. Not everyone, but the ones that I kind of know a little bit about and ones that I think I could be good at. So,
yeah, that's an interesting model. That's referring back to that franchise system that I was a part of. They actually here in Canada, they didn't actually start here. They started in another country, in Australia. But here in Canada, they only have the mowing division. But in Australia, where they started, they have the mowing division, but then they also have a whole bunch of other divisions now, and they've done just that. So they have like 20 or 30 different types of things that you can hire them out for, specifically. And they sort of have grown in that sort of sense. So what type of work, actually, before I get into that one, I just want to sort of go back to that offering other services, because I noticed on one of your latest videos, you getting a snowplow and salter for your truck. So for the Black Beauty, as you call it, what got you into thinking about that? Because you mentioned that you don't get too much snow where you're from. It's sort of hit or miss. So maybe talk about a bit about that.
Yeah, basically, pretty easy. My first 3 years in business, I didn't want anything to do with snow. because it's just so hit and miss. And I didn't want to invest the money, and there's a lot of guys around here that kind of do the same. But this year I've picked up 3 commercial properties that I'm responsible for year round. So, I am responsible if it snows. And I thought about subbing that out and doing it that way. But then I thought, well, I guess this is the time I need to invest in some equipment. So, that's kind of what made that decision. If I wouldn't have landed those 3 properties, I would not have bought a plow this year. Just to be frank with you, I mean, I didn't see the point in it, in spending the money, unless I actually had the accounts. And since they're commercial accounts and, they're kind of a 12-month deal, I get paid, all year long. I don't want to lose those. And, so snow is just something I kind of have to do if I want to keep those accounts. And, like I said, the subcontracting was definitely an option, but I don't like doing that. I don't like, basically giving somebody else money. I don't like putting my reputation on the line for somebody else's work. And I just thought this was the perfect opportunity to go for it.
Okay. Sorry. And with the snow removal as well. Sorry, I lost you a little bit there. But with the snow removal as well, I have to admit I was a bit jealous because I have, for my own personal vehicle, or my work truck, is a 2005 GMC Sierra 2500 Duramax. And when I first initially went to look a few years ago to sort of get into snow plowing as well, I was told that my specific truck, I couldn't put a plow on for that specific year, and that it was the only year, the 2005, that you couldn't put a plow on. So I was I was curious, and then realized that yours was a 2006. I was like, oh, that's why he's got a plow on it. I was like, darn it. I'm not sure what it is about the 2005s specifically, but for some reason they changed something that year and I think it has to do with some suspension issues that you can't put a snowplow on a 2005 for some reason. I was like, oh, he's got a lucky guy. He's able to try it out and do it. I'm like, darn it.
I would have never thought
actually
that.
my brother-in-law, who also runs a lawn care company, he's got the exact same truck as me as well. And he actually went and bought a Dodge Ram just for snow plowing because he couldn't put a plow. He just bought like a 1500 Dodge Ram to put a snowplow on because the Duramax, he's got the 2005 as well, and they wouldn't sell him a plow for it.
Wow.
So I was like, that's crazy. Like, you got this big truck, so much power, and you can't put a plow on it for that specific year for some reason. Yeah, so that'll be interesting to watch you if you do get some snow to try out and see how that works out for you. Being sort of a rookie in that field, to go along and learn along with you with the snow removal. That should be pretty exciting. Any snow forecast?
Yeah, actually, in the middle of next week, they're showing a 50% chance of snow. So I'm kind of crossing my fingers. That's perfect timing for me because I'm off for a couple of weeks at my other job. And, if it happens right there in the middle of the week, it's just perfect for me as far as timing goes. And then, I kind of that's kind of what I was wanting, something in the middle of the week, something, I can kind of plan for and not have any other obligations because I know, like you said, I'm a rookie at this. I've plowed one driveway before with somebody else's truck and plow, and that's all I've ever done.
Yeah.
So this is definitely going to be a learning experience, and I know I'm not going to be able to get it done, as quick as, a lot of other guys.
As efficiently. Yeah. So that'll be exciting to follow along and see. Have you been able to do any salting besides, or is the salting sort of just hand in hand with the snow? I know around here, the guys that do plow, because it is pretty sporadic. I know most people think Canada is like buried in snow, but on the West Coast here, it's very, we get maybe 1 or 2 days of snow. Last year we got hammered where it was just like burying us alive, basically, but that was a very odd year. We usually get like a day of snow and then it'll end up raining and washing away. So most of the guys here, though, will do a lot of salting because it does get cold, and with the rain, it'll start to freeze and stuff. So do you guys have that opportunity, or is it just when you're clearing the snow that you get to use the salter?
No, I mean, yeah, if there is some freezing rain or just rain and there is some ice on the ground, we will go out and salt, but we haven't had that opportunity yet this year either. So just now the temperatures are starting to get below freezing. The lows have been kind of, below freezing for the last few weeks, but, when you got 2 or 3 hours that are under freezing, it's just not going to amount to a whole lot. So, today was actually kind of the turning point. Today, for the next couple of weeks, as far as I can see forward, it's supposed to be pretty cold. So, hopefully we get some work in there somewhere.
Yeah, that'll be cool. That system that you have looked pretty neat. The remote, being able to control the salter and the plow and everything, and being able to program those sort of custom moves that you can sort of do combination type moves with. That was really neat. Yeah. I don't think. I haven't really looked at salt or plows and things before at other guys, so I'm not sure if that's like the normal thing, but I was like, hey, that's pretty cool to be able to do it all with one little sort of remote in your hand. And I was pretty impressed by that.
Yeah, I thought I was sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, I thought I was doing really well. I really like the setup and everything. There's some guys that have kind of left some comments on that video that, I'll regret buying that plow and this and that. And, one thing I try to remind people is, different parts of the country or even different parts of the world, there's different snow levels, here in Kansas, we're definitely not going to get the snow that New York gets. So I'm not, if we get 6 inches here in Kansas, our city is shut down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, it's completely shut down. So, but 6 inches in New York is it's just another day. So,
yes.
Just
a lot of guys don't sort of put it into context or think about it in that. I say the same thing with, whether using commercial or residential equipment. After I sold my walker, I ended up going to a Home Depot John Deere tractor for those types of jobs because I'm in the city and 99% of my work is all with a Honda commercial 21-inch mower. And, I have a handful, maybe 2 or 3 lawns that were too big for that I was using the walker for. And because of the weight and stuff, my biggest concern after selling it was I just want the lightest machine I can get on here because I keep wrecking these lawns with heavy commercial ride-ons. So then I went to a John Deere and everybody was like, well, that's not going to last. That's not going to work. That's not going to, this or that. And it was fantastic. It was perfect for it. It was super slow, but it got the job done and it never would rut because it was so light. And if there was any areas where it was sort of sketchy, I could just jump off of it and push it because it was like 300 pounds or something. Mm-hmm. It was so light to, get it out of the way. And being a solo operator for me at least, without employees, there was nobody abusing it. So I didn't have the breakdowns and things on it that other people would expect, from a machine because it was mine. I take care of it. I'm not rough on it. It did the job pretty well until it got stolen.
Oh, man.
And then, I had everything stolen at once and then decided to try, just always trying to try different things in the business and efficiency and stuff and decide, I've never tried a walk behind mower. Let me try one of those and actually ended up buying first a Viking, and then quickly after that seeing a turf tracer, and then referring to your videos on how to use a turf tracer. I think you were teaching an employee in one video up and down the street on how to drive the thing, and I was like, hey, I remember seeing a video. I got to look up Brian's video to see how I even drive this thing, because I have no idea. I had to get the guy who I bought it off of to load it on my trailer, because I was like, I don't know how the heck you even use this thing. So just always expanding stuff. But yeah, I think people take it out of context about, looking at a plow like yours and going, well, that's not going to last, you're going to regret it. And it's like, well, where do you work?
Yeah.
Like you said, it's not New York. You're not getting crazy amounts of snow that you have Casey Neistat, riding a surfboard down the street at Christmas time or something.
That's
right?
not going to happen.
It's
here.
like, yeah.
I think you bring up a really good point. The fact that, you bought, what some would say a lesser mower, but it worked for you because you're the one using it. You're the one that's taking care of it. And I know I'm going to be the one using my plow. I'm going to be the one that's going to, I'm going to be using it 90% of the time. Obviously, I want to train my employee a little bit after I kind of learn it on how to use it, just in case we need them to. But, my dad gave me some advice when I first started my business, and it's something I've always kind of held my hat on. Is he told me, he goes, just remember that nobody, and I mean nobody, will ever care about your company and your equipment more than you. And that's something I've always held my hat on. And, a lot of times, things break down, not because they're bad. It's just, they're getting abused. And people just don't care as much as you. And that's just a fact. If you didn't put your money down and you didn't buy it, then it's not as valuable to you. And that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So I really like that. Yeah. And, things last because you take care of them. And hopefully I plan on taking care of my plow. So I hope nothing happens. But one of the biggest reasons why I bought that plow was because, I'm good with that, my dealer here, and they actually offer 24-hour support whenever there's a snowstorm. And to me, that was very valuable to me.
Okay. Yes, that would be very valuable, especially if, like you say, you are the one responsible for those commercial properties, and you got to get it done. Yeah. If you lose a part or something, a pin or a bolt or something bends or breaks because you accidentally hit a curb or something like that, and you need that part. You are the one responsible. So having a dealer with that's open during that time to be able to give you a hand and support throughout that time, to maybe even if they can't fix it right away, maybe a solution or a temporary fix just to get you cleared out, getting that job done is super valuable.
Yep.
So talking about that commercial work that you mentioned, so with doing that as well as all the residential and stuff, what do you prefer? Do you prefer commercial or do you prefer residential, and why?
I don't have a ton of commercial accounts, but I do prefer just from the few that I have, I do prefer the commercial game versus the residential because to me, you're not chasing your money with commercial accounts. I've never experienced that. I tend to chase, with residential, and I know, a lot of guys are going to the prepayment, things like that. But, to me, it's just a different ball game when you're talking about commercial accounts. When, with some of the accounts that I have, you call them up or you go talk to them and you say, hey, your lawn could really use a aeration, or, we really need to do this or this or this to make your lawn look better. And 9 times out of 10, they're like, yeah, do it. I don't care. Do it. And, to me, the sell is a lot easier with commercial because, they have, they want to keep their lawn looking nice. Then they know they're going to have to spend money to do that. A lot of residential customers, they just kind of want to get by. And, obviously you got your ones that really care about their lawn and they have the extra income to do that. But I think, but there's also a lot of them that just want, just mow it. And then, and if, off chance that you mow it and it really didn't need it, or they thought it didn't need it or something, then you end up, hey, why did you mow it? You know what I mean? I mean, it just, there's more, to me, there's more hassle with residential, but,
Okay.
but, I mean, that's not to say I don't like residential either, because I do. But if I had to choose, I would choose 100 commercial accounts versus 100 residential accounts.
Okay. Yeah, that makes total sense. Everybody has a different take. For me, I'm completely the opposite. I love the residential. When I did commercial, it was more of a negative experience. I remember working at some places and I'd be there for so much time, and the guy would come out and he'd be like, wow, you're still here? Like, and saying, oh, the owner of the property is just so impressed. It looks fantastic ever since you took over and all that. And then at the end of the season, it was like, okay, sort of figuring out how long it was taking me. And then I wanted to, adjust the price on my next bid up. I think it was like $200 more per visit to be able to keep up that standard. And they're like, yeah, see ya.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so it's like super cutthroat. No matter how nice it looks, it all comes down to the dollar amount at the end. And I was like, yeah,
I do agree with you. It's more cutthroat, and that's something I really didn't think about when I was answering that question. But yeah, it is more cutthroat, and but at the same time, residential is kind of getting cutthroat as well. There's just a lot of lawn care companies out there, and I think, and like I said, I don't have that many commercial accounts where I can actually offer a really valuable opinion. I don't think, but the ones I have, I really like, and they've really been good to me. So that kind of favors me.
Yeah, no, that's a question. Like I say, I ask everybody, and everybody's got different answers of why they like or why they don't like certain aspects. So there isn't a wrong or right answer to it. It's just what is your experience with it. So this next question is the one that sort of gets people to think a little bit, and that is share with us a time that you struggled in your business and what you learned or did to overcome it.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of struggles I've had. Just going back to
any entrepreneur.
Yeah, really. There's probably the biggest one, like I've said before, is employees. I've been really, I'm a pretty lenient boss, I would say. Okay. I tend to look at it as the employees doing me the favor and not the other way around. And I'm trying to look at it as a more, business type situation, to where, if somebody's not working out, then I just need to get rid of them, get somebody else in here. I tend to, I'm a very compassionate person. And that's times I can be very gullible, I think, and naive and all those kind of words. And I'm very, I really want to help people out. And a lot of times I get taken advantage of because of that. And, and I'm trying to, I wouldn't say I've even overcome that. I really haven't. I'm trying to. I recognize that's kind of a problem. And one of the steps I'm going to do this off season is I'm going to write an employee handbook. I'm going to write down kind of everything that I expect. I'm going to write down, we're going to have procedures or on, write-ups, things like that. I want to start making employees accountable for not coming to work, for being late, for whatever reason. And that way it's written down. It's, it's there, it's on paper. There is no, wishy-washy type stuff. So, and like I said, I've just, that's one of the steps that I'm doing this year to kind of get into a more professional atmosphere than, cause like I said, I'm pretty compassionate, and I'm pretty naive sometimes.
And very patient as well, I've noticed from your videos.
Yeah, I am. I understand, that's one of the things that I'm very, I don't know the word that I'm looking for, but, I don't know everything, and I make a lot of mistakes, and I know employees make mistakes too. And it's all part of the business, in my opinion. Somebody, somebody hits something or wrecks something, that's fine. We'll take care of it. As long as you learn from that and just don't repeat your mistakes, I'm okay with that. My biggest problem is when you obviously realize that they don't care about the job or they don't care about what's going on, and then bad things happen as a result of that. That's my biggest issue with that. I mean, if you're working and mistakes happen, or you just wasn't paying attention for that split second or something, then I can get over that pretty quickly. But, like I said, as long as the mistake doesn't repeat itself.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. So what is and it will be a neat perspective coming from you, seeing as you do have another job as well. So what is your favorite thing about being self-employed?
My favorite thing is the time issue really isn't a favorite thing to me, because I just don't feel like, to do it right, in my opinion, you're putting in a lot of time that you're not getting paid for. So the time is just kind of, it's just something you have to do, and you can't really just take off whenever you want. If you do, I think your business will kind of suffer a little bit. And I've done that before. I think I talked about it in a video recently where in the past, in the wintertime, I've kind of just taken it easy. I've kind of relaxed and not really did anything for 3 or 4 months. And I got lazy and I didn't do the things that needed to be done in order to help my business grow. So my favorite thing is just doing things the way I want to do it. I like being the be all end all decision, whether it's right or wrong. I like that. I like knowing that, this company is where it's at kind of because of what I've done. You know what I mean? To me, I'm proud of that. And, I also know that, you're only as good as, your employees, obviously they help you a lot as well, but, somebody has to be in charge. Somebody has to take the blame when things go bad, and somebody also has to get the credit when things go good. So that's what I like about it. I like being in charge. I like learning new things, and I like just getting better every year.
Okay. So the next question, we're going to shift to marketing a little bit. And so in what ways do you market your business, and maybe share your number one marketing tip?
The ways I've done it is my website. My website and Google has been a huge thing for me. And honestly, that's about the only way I market right now. I don't really put any money into anything else. I think that's, I think that's top dog right now, especially in the times that we live in. I think you have to be, you have to have a website. You have to be ranked. I think that's where a lot of people go and search for services. I know I do. When I'm looking for a plumber, I search plumber, Wichita, Kansas, Derby, Kansas, wherever I'm at. That's what I do. And I think it's very important if you want to continue to, show up and continue to get calls, that you need to have a presence online.
Yeah.
So,
that's exactly the same for me too. Website and the Google My Business or Google Places, whatever they call it now. They seem to change it over every few years, but essentially the same thing. They've been fantastic for me, and that's basically the one thing that I focus on the most, is just having that website and having that listing, and that does the core of the marketing for me as well. I was talking to in an interview last week with John Ryan, and we were talking about the yellow pages and how ironically the week before one came to my door, and one of the kids grabbed it on their way home from school and put it in the front entrance, and I guess some jackets kind of piled up on it and stuff, and then my wife found it, and she looked at it and she goes, "A yellow pages? Does anybody even use these anymore?" And she just went right to the recycle bin and dropped it into the recycling bin, because it's like, I think that what you're mentioning there, in the times that we live in, everybody just uses their phones and the internet to search for what they're looking for.
I remember when I first started my company, my wife, she was wanting me to name it something that started with the letter A. And she was, because I would show up first. And that was kind of the trick back then with the yellow pages and the phone book and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
You would show up first. And I had to explain to her, I was like, it doesn't work that way anymore, honey. It just doesn't. It don't matter if if your company name is Zulu Lawn Care, it doesn't matter. If you got all the right things in place, then hopefully you'll show up on the front page. That's what you want, no matter what alphabetical order. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, no, it's that is pretty funny. It also makes for a lot more diversity in company names, because 20 years ago it was all AAA this or A1 this, or all because of that same reason. So what do you, I'm guessing from your videos, obviously, that you have an off season in your business. So what do you do? Because this is a question I get from my customers all the time. They are always asking me, what do I do in the winter? So what do you do in the winter? You mentioned that you've been a little bit lazy for things you think you should have done in the past years. And also, it doesn't have to be business related. If maybe you have a hobby or something, whatever it is that you focus in on the winter time.
So the last few years I have been lazy, and honestly, I've kind of just taken the approach that I have my other job, and what I've done in the wintertime is I just work that job and I don't do nothing else. And that's kind of what I've done the past few years. And the business is just kind of gets set aside. And I think that's really hurt me as far as growing my business. And, because there's a lot of things you can do in the off season to help your business. Just for example, for me, like I need to get better at a lot of my processes that I go through, and I need to refine all them. I need to, do my employee handbook. I need to, see what I'm going to do for marketing this year. If I want to do anything different, I need to, there's just a lot of things you can be doing. And probably the biggest thing that I'm doing this year is all those things I just mentioned, but I've made a real point into trying new things. That's a real big thing for me right now. And I'm kind of at the point to where, we do a lot of lawn care, we do a lot of cutting the yards, but I want to be able to do more. I want to be able to build patios. I want to do ponds. I want to do, bigger landscape jobs. I really don't have much experience in that. I really don't have any experience at all in that. And that's goes back to my point is I want to try new things. I want to see, I want to see what I like. I mean, who knows? I might really love doing paver jobs, but I'll never know if I don't try. And it might actually be something I'm really good at. It might be something I excel at. You know what I mean? But if you don't try it and you don't get out there and do it, how are you ever going to know? And, I know a lot of people learn by working with other people and things like that. I don't really have that opportunity around here. So I'm going to just dive in and I'm going to do a few jobs and see what happens. And, the first job I'm doing is at my house. So I know if I mess it up, ain't no big deal. So, and that kind of goes back to the whole YouTube thing is, I'm very, very fortunate to be in a position to where I know a lot of people that have experience in pavers and ponds and things like that. And if I run into problems or something, I can just, I can give them a call or shoot them a text or something, and I can probably figure it out. So this off season, that's probably my biggest thing is to learn new things, try different things, because I want my company to be more than just cutting yards. I'm a firm believer that the more the more that you can do, the more valuable you are as a company, and the more it's going to set yourself apart from other companies. Everybody always talks about how the lawn care industry is kind of saturated because it doesn't take a brain surgeon to mow a yard. It just really doesn't. Yep. But when you start offering all these other different types of services, that's what's going to set you apart, because then it does take experience. It does take some knowledge, and it does take some know-how on how to do those type of things. And that's what I'm focusing on right now.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I think a lawn care millionaire had a video on that about how, at the bottom end of the scale, sort of like a pyramid shape, you have all these lawn care companies because it's relatively low barrier of entry. You can use residential equipment getting started. You can use your vehicle that you may have already getting started. There's not a lot of regulations and requirements for it. But then as you add services and things that require more training, maybe more regulations, like say chemical spraying and stuff like that. Well, then you don't have right there. It's like one step up, and you don't have as much competition because now there's those barriers in place. And the more barriers there are in place, the more the bottom gets dissolved out as far as competition goes. And also the more then you can start charging for services because now it's there's not as much choice out there for people, and you're relying on your skills and all that. So yeah, that totally made sense. My next question, you, I think, answered in that last answer, because it was, what are your future plans for your business? And it sounds like you want to expand your business and offer other services eventually down the line.
I do. That's kind of my goal right now is, I want to expand into different areas. I want to have, bigger landscape jobs. I'm really, really fascinated with the paver game right now. I've been, I see a lot of guys on Instagram and I see those kind of jobs, and I love them to death. And that's something I've always wanted to learn how to do. I've never had the opportunity to do it. So, this year I'm just going to make the opportunity. I'm just going to do one. And I've already got my pavers bought. I found a guy on, it was a local Facebook page, buy and sell type deal, and he was selling 500 pavers, and I bought them. And me and my boys, we went and loaded them up in the truck. It took us 3 loads. So, but we spent a Saturday morning and we did that, and they're in my backyard, and we're waiting to get some other stuff done before we start working on that. We're going to build us a fire pit, and and that's kind of, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to try new things, and if it's something that I don't enjoy doing or something I don't like doing, then I'm not going to do it. But like I said before, you just never know until you get in there, you get your hands dirty and you try it. And my biggest thing is, like I said, it might be something I'm actually really good at. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And if it's something that I excel at, and because I try and I like it and I work hard at it, and it's just something I have a knack for, you know what I mean? Then, that's something I want to do. That's something I want to try, but you're never going to know if you don't have that opportunity, and if you don't give yourself the opportunity to learn. And you just got to put yourself out there and do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Please tell me, when you picked up those pavers, you still had that flat deck truck before you sold it.
Nope, I actually loaded. That's the reason why I took 3 trips, is because I used my 1500 truck.
There you go.
So it was sagging pretty good, and that was kind of my personal truck that I drive around, and I didn't want to come all the way to the shop, switch trucks, and do all that. So I was like, okay, we're just going to make several trips. It's no big deal.
Yeah. That's funny. On that reminds me, that flatbed truck, one of my favorite videos that you did was the one when you first got the truck, and you were driving to the gas station and were worrying about running out of fuel and just seeing how far you could get. And I believe you made it like just into the parking lot of the gas station when it ran out or something like that. I thought that was a pretty funny movie. That was a video that was probably about a year ago or so.
What actually happened, I don't even know if I even followed up on this, but it actually ran out of gas. Probably, maybe not quite a block, but maybe a good block away from the gas station. And what I did is
that's right.
I coasted all the way down, and I literally stopped right at the pump. And
Yeah, yeah.
And I thought I was going to run out, or I thought I was going to stop because it was kind of a downhill. But once you got down there by the gas station, it kind of leveled out and it started to slow down. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I got to make a decision here. Do I either go for it or do I stop right here? And I went for it. I made it anyway. But what ended up happening is I had a hole in my gas tank.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't know it until I got to the pump. I started filling up, and I got about 10 gallons in, and I'm just standing there, and I hear something, and I look down, and there's gas dripping out of my gas tank. And I didn't know it when I bought it because I didn't inspect the gas tank like I probably should have looked underneath it. But they had cut a hole in it, and I'm assuming it was to either import something that's illegal or they were trying to fix the fuel pump and didn't want to drop the gas tank.
Oh, okay.
And so they patched it up. And then what happened is gas sat in there for a little while. And all they did was patch it up to sell it. But the gas just started eating it away and it started leaking out.
Okay. Yeah. That now you're refreshing my memory. Like I say, I think it was about a year ago. So, but it was one of my favorite things because like, is he going to make it? Is he going to make it? He's like coasting along. And it was like, and you were just having so much fun. Like I would be a wreck. I'd be like, all paranoid. He's going to ride out. It's going to be a pain. I'm going to have to call a tow truck or something, right? And you were just like laughing the whole
stuff
way.
Like that. Stuff like that doesn't bother me at all. I'm pretty even keel. I don't get all in an uproar about too many things. And but I knew worst case scenario. I knew the gas. I could see the gas station. I mean, I was like, worst case scenario. I got to walk a little bit. I mean, gas stations around here, they usually have a empty can sitting around there. And so I could have just walked over there and filled it up and then whatever. But, did you know I sold that truck?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I saw that video as well. And then Grass Monkey
bought it. Yeah.
Bought it.
Yep.
Yeah. And he's got it all lettered up and wrapped now. And
I seen the wrap.
Yeah, so
I seen the wrap and I was like, oh man, maybe I should have kept that thing. That thing looks pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. So sort of transitioning here with that video as well, with you going, I was like, okay, now that's what you call good karma happening for all of the good deeds and positive vibes that you put into the lawn care community right there. Being able to coast all the way on no gas and stopping at a gas station. There you go. The universe is looking after you. So let's transition, speaking about that, to your YouTube channel. So you started this July 2013. You are at 41,000 subscribers and over 9 million views. What do you even think when you think about that, or do you even think about that?
I do sometimes. I do think about it. I think it's I really don't know what to think about it, to be honest with you. But I do think about it a lot. And kind of the one thing I kind of come back to is it's unbelievable. I really, I know everybody says this and it's kind of so cliche, but dude, I seriously never thought 40,000 people would subscribe to my channel. I really didn't. I remember when I was so happy when I got 100. And just a funny quick story about that was when I first started YouTube, I had two part-time Air Force guys working for me. One was named Hunter, one was named Zach. And those guys had brought up, it's like, hey man, you should do like 100 subscriber giveaway. And I was like, really guys, that's so stupid. I said, I'm just some little bitty channel on YouTube. Nobody ever even watches or whatever. And then, so we were just kind of talking. I was like, okay, guys, whatever. Maybe I'll send them a shirt, something like that. So lo and behold, my 100th subscriber was my employee, Zach.
Okay.
So they were playing a trick on me. Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of funny, but seriously, I had no idea. I didn't even know what I was getting into. Didn't even know what to expect. I definitely didn't expect to get 100, 10,000, 40,000. I seriously don't. And I'm 100% humbled because I know me personally, I'm just some I'm just a Joe Blow out in the middle of the United States that, doesn't know a whole lot about anything and just kind of fell into it. And, a lot of it was luck. I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of it was kind of hard work, and that's just kind of where it ended up.
Mm-hmm. It's very evident, though, watching your videos, that you are humble and that you are, it almost feels like you, at times struggle with it, as far as like I was watching a video where you were talking about giving away a couple of t-shirts, and you mentioned that people have always asked to buy t-shirts and stuff, and you're like, and you can see that you're not comfortable with that, that you almost feel a responsibility with your channel to always be giving back, to always be that type of person, and not in it for the wrong reasons. And I say that I think that's a big part of your success, is that it's very evident.
Yeah.
That the true you shines through.
That's one of the things I do struggle with. I see a lot of guys, and they promote. And honestly, I wish I was more like that. I do. I think that's better for social media if you can do that. But I just don't have that in me. And I think I get that from my dad. My dad taught me at a young age to never tell somebody how good you are. Let them tell you how good you are. Does that make sense?
Yep. No, absolutely.
Don't ever promote yourself. Let somebody else do that for you. That's, to me, that is the true, the true value of who you are and what you're doing, whatever it is. Somebody else praises you instead of you praising yourself. To me, that just means so much more than, because anybody can praise themselves, right? I mean,
yes, yeah.
Anybody can do that, but to have other people actually say good things about you, then that to me, that's just better. So that's kind of what I've always done. I've never been a self promoter. I've never been somebody to kind of go out of my way to show somebody what I've done. That's why YouTube's kind of hard for me. It's hard for me in that aspect, because I don't want to, I'm not a bragger. I don't want to be like that. And it's just not in my nature to be like that. But in some cases, when you're doing videos, you have to show people what you're doing. And,
yes.
There's a certain way things can come off, and there's a certain way that people can do things. And I just try to do it in a way to where, hey, this is what I've done. Give me your opinion on it, and good or bad. And that's why I show a lot of bad stuff on my channel, because that's who I am. I'm kind of a goofy guy, and I do stupid stuff all the time. I do. Some stuff I do, and like I'll read the comments and I'll go, why didn't I think of that? It's so simple, Like, for example, I got my Walker mower stuck. I backed it over a curb. And I sat there for like 10 minutes. I could not figure out how to get it up. And I put blocks of wood underneath it. I did all kinds of crazy stuff. And then I called my sister. She was in the area. She helped me get it up. And then somebody actually wrote in the comments of that video, it was like, well, why didn't you just unlock the hydros and then you could have pushed it up? And I was like, well, crap, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah.
And, it's not like I didn't know that you could unlock the hydros, because I did. I just didn't think of it, and I do stupid stuff all the time. That's just who I am. That's why it's very unbelievable to me that I could have the following that I have and have the views that I have, because I'm not some guy who knows it all. You see guys on YouTube all the time, and they know the answer, they know what they're doing, and blah blah blah. And I just don't. And maybe that's an appeal, maybe it's not. I don't know, but just I'm very lucky to be in the position that I'm in. I can tell you that.
Yeah, no, that's it's very evident that you're very grateful for that journey that you're on with YouTube. I'm similarly, I sort of try to emulate you in that sense when I'm talking on my podcast or something like that. If I'm telling people what I do in my business or what I've tried and what's worked, to try to always make a conscious effort to say, this is what's worked for me, but it may not work for you because your situation is different. Everybody's situation is different. And, go out and don't just listen to me, listen to everybody. Go watch YouTube videos, go get your information from a bunch of sources. Don't just rely on me, and compile and figure out for yourself what's going to work for you. And just because I do it one way and it works, it doesn't mean that's the best way to do it, because, I'm using a way and it's working. So I'm not trying other ways. So, but maybe there is a different way to do this better than how I'm doing it.
Exactly.
So yeah, just always being sort of mindful of that fact. Now, speaking of having some fun on your YouTube channel, for those that do watch it and are subscribed, it's pretty evident, again, not only the giving back to the community, like you did the big complete lawn care giveaway with Kevin from Fall River. So maybe talk about that, and then we're going to get into your playing Mr. Dress Up at GIE and and how that went about. And Kevin always seems to be a part of these schemes that you guys are
Kevin's
putting together.
Kevin's my guy, man. Most guys that know me know that I pretty much stick to myself, and I don't go out of my way to reach out to a bunch of guys like I probably should. There's a lot of guys that I respect. There's a lot of guys that I like. But for whatever reason, I just hit it off with Kevin. And, we've been friends for 3 years now, and maybe longer. I don't know. But we've been to 3 GIEs together, I think. And, most guys don't understand how much me and Kevin actually talk, honestly. We will talk probably at least 4 times a week.
Okay. Yeah.
And we talk about business. We talk about life. We talk about YouTube a lot. We talk about business a lot, and it's just somebody that, I trust fully, and, and it's just the way it is. But
you could see that watching one of Kevin's videos when you phoned him in the middle of the video and he was just like, put you on the video. You're in the vlog.
Yeah. And that's just, that's me and Kevin, and, some would call us a couple of girls. Honestly, we sit on the phone, like in between properties when we're cutting or something, and I'd be like, okay, I'm bored. I got a 30-minute drive or whatever. I'm going to call Kevin, see what he's doing, and, a lot of times he'll be like, hey, I'm on my way to my yard too. He's like, okay, well, what's going on today? I didn't really call you for nothing specific. Just what's happening? We're buddies, and that's just kind of how it is. And that's why whenever we're doing stuff, or whenever, one of us are doing stuff, it usually includes the other person, just because we're, and a lot of times what happens is I'll call Kevin up, or he'll call me up and be like, hey man, I got this idea for a video. And then we start brainstorming, and we're like, next thing you know, we're doing it together, Oh,
okay. Yeah.
So that's kind of how that all works out. So.
Yeah. So who came up with the dressing up idea at GIE?
I think I came up with the idea. I don't want to steal anything from Kevin, but I think I came up with the idea. But definitely he helped me a lot with the planning. That's one of the things. I mean, we just on the phone, and you get to brainstorming, and you just start rambling off ideas and what's going to work and what's not going to work. And we definitely had a lot more planned out, but it just didn't work out.
Was it the glue on the facial hair started coming off?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect to be hot. And wearing overalls and boots and beard and mustache, and I started sweating pretty good. So that ended up kind of being the deterrent of the project, if you will. But it was fun. I mean, in hindsight, definitely wish we could have pulled it off kind of more of what we were wanting to do, kind of get multiple guys and kind of be the guy. And here was the initial plan. The initial plan was to get as many opportunities to meet YouTube people without them knowing who I was as possible.
Okay, yeah.
That was the initial goal. And I don't know, it just didn't work out, but I think that would have been pretty cool if we could have got
it would have
a lot of people on there to, because a lot of times when you're at GIE, you don't really have a whole lot of time to sit there and have a 5-minute conversation. And that's what we were kind of banking on, because my accent was horrible. I worked on my accent for like a month and could not get it down. And Kevin was like, nope, I can still tell that's you. Nope, that's you. Nope. So yeah. But anyway, it was a good time. I'm glad we tried it. I mean, it was frustrating, but it was also pretty fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. It looked like a lot of fun. I think everybody at GIE next year will be looking out for Kevin, especially if you're not around, and saying, "Okay, where's Kevin?" And look at a 20-yard radius around him.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, and then with Kevin as well. Now, I think from watching and also talking to Kevin as well. I believe his story or side of the story as far as your relationship when it started was GIE as well, where he had his truck stolen and says that, you went completely out of your way to help him out. And that's where the friendship began. And like I say, watching your videos, it's very evident that you are a very compassionate and giving person. From that sort of instance of you going out of your way when you're, what some people would call, the big YouTuber, to have, to help a fellow guy out like that and drive him around and stuff when his vehicle was stolen, and then to get together and do that complete lawn care giveaway. So maybe speak a bit about that giveaway and why you guys decided to do that.
Yeah, the giveaway was something that, we had talked about, and, it just felt right. I mean, as you kind of mentioned, always looking to give back. And Kevin's kind of in the same situation where, we both know, and that, as far as YouTube goes, I mean, I know I've been pretty lucky. Right timing, whatever you want to say it. I've had, some decent success on YouTube, and, the viewers are the reason why. I mean, if people don't watch, then you're not going to grow. That's just a fact. And, so that's something that we wanted to do to give back. And, Kevin was willing to join me in that, and I appreciate that. And, it was just something that was really cool. Very, very fortunate enough to be able to be in a position to do that. So, really, really loved it. And especially being able to deliver the equipment to the guy was really awesome. Getting ready to see his reaction and his parents and all that. It was just, I loved every minute of it.
That's awesome. It was a great video, and the sort of build up to it was very neat to see you guys giving back to the community, and especially to somebody who really was able to use, starting out and use all of that equipment. It was just fantastic to see. So you were recently invited to become part of the Echo UAG program. And you also, one of the Facebook groups you've joined, sort of along the lines of positivity. And that I talked, like I said, I interviewed John Ryan last week, and we talked a lot about how the group is meant to be a very positive place. So maybe speak to why you decided to accept an invitation to become a moderator on Lawn Care Legends, and maybe what attracted you to doing the Echo UAG program.
We'll start off with the UAG here. The UAG, I really didn't know too much about it. I talked to Kevin about it. He kind of told me kind of what it was all about, and they reached out to me. I kind of thought about it a little bit, and I I was reluctant because I'm not an Echo user. I didn't at the time. They had sent me a trimmer, but honestly, I'm just not a big fan of their trimmers just because they just feel different and it's not what I'm used to. So I didn't know if it was going to work. And then I thought, well, at least I can go out to Chicago and kind of hear what they have to say, and then kind of go from there. So I go out to Chicago and got to meet a lot of great guys from YouTube, hang out with them. But the one thing that really impressed me was, and I've said this a number of times, I think, but the fact that this company flies me out to Chicago, puts me up in a hotel, and I spend 2 days at their facility, and we're talking about Echo products, and we're talking about growing my business and not talking about promoting their products. And, to have them look at me and say, look, I don't care if all you use is steel. I don't care. I don't want somebody in here that's raw Echo and all they want to talk about is Echo products. I don't want that person in here. Well, I shouldn't say I don't want that person in here, but I welcome other people like yourself in this program, and we want you to be a part of this program, whether you use Echo or not, whether you like Echo or not. To me, that I got a lot of respect from Echo for doing that, because that really opens them up to some vulnerability. But I really got the feeling that Echo is trying to do what's best for Echo and do what's best for me and do what's best for the industry. And for that reason, I'm really, really excited about being a part of this program. And, that's the main reason why I wanted to do it. And to try new things, to try new Echo products that I normally wouldn't try because I'm happy with what I use. But there's nothing wrong with trying something different. Try it out. I mean, who knows? I mean, to me, you can't have an informed opinion about products if you haven't tried more than one product. Yeah.
You see it a lot. People that are like, this is the best, this is the best, this is the best. Have you ever used anything else? No, because this is the best. Well, how do you know?
Exactly. So, I don't want to sit up here in my videos and talk about steel and do this and this and this if I've never tried anything else. I mean, to me, it's kind of narrow-minded in my opinion. And as a business owner, I want to have all the information out there possible to make an informed decision about equipment, what's best for my business, price-wise, efficiency-wise, all that kind of stuff. And to do that, you have to get out there and you have to try different things. And the UAG provides that opportunity. So I'm going to take advantage of it.
Yeah, that's great. When I was at the UAG meeting as well, I was impressed by their fact that when they said, when you review products, if there's something that you don't like about our product, you have to say it. You can't hold it back. You can't, sugarcoat it or anything like that. If you like steel products better after you've used our products, that's what you have to put in your video. And I was like, really? Like, are you really asking me for your opinion, for my opinion, like my honest opinion? Or is this like when my wife asks me for my honest opinion when she's, how do I look in this dress? And you're always like, I've just started reviewing the Echo stuff after a year of using it. And I'm like, okay, well, here goes. You guys wanted my honest opinion. So I'm going to, there are things, because I don't believe every product is perfect. There are things on each of them that I don't like. And I started putting that out on my videos going, okay, here's what I like and here's what I don't like.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you're always like, I don't know about.
That's, like I said, that's what I respect about them the most is they're actually trying to better themselves and trying to better us in the process. And, there's not another company out there that I believe that would put themselves out there like that. I mean, basically you're just saying, hey, I want you to criticize me. I want you to tell me what I'm doing wrong. I want you to tell me how I can make these products better. And to me, that speaks volumes for Echo.
Yeah. So, and then shifting to Lawn Care Legends. So it's a fairly new group and you're a moderator in that. Like I said, I interviewed John Ryan last week about how the group is, very positive and, basically the only rule is no negativity, no tearing anybody else down. and just, being helpful and uplifting to everybody. So what made you, because there's, a million Facebook groups out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it's not the only one that you're a part of. But what kind of attracted you to that?
Just the group of guys that are on there. John, Martin, a lot of those guys I fully respect. And I got a different vibe from that group than I have the other groups. And I don't participate in Facebook groups that much, and I've touched on that before. And part of the reason why is just a lot of negativity, honestly. And I understand you're going to have banter back and forth, and you're going to have people that don't agree. And I think that's what makes these groups good, is not to just have a bunch of people that are saying the exact same thing, but there's a respectful way to do it.
Yes.
And there's a way to do it without, just coming off as a total, bad guy, or, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's just a way to do it and still have respect. And, but like I said, this group, I just got a different vibe from that group. And Lawn Care Legends, they've treated me very well. They asked me to be a moderator, and I was like, yeah, that's a privilege, to be a part of this group and to actually have some say in what goes on in this group. I'm all for it. I love being a part of things like that, especially with guys that are like-minded in the community that I'm in, and they have the same goals that I have as far as growing my business, doing things more efficiently and doing them in a positive way. And that's what kind of draw me to this group. I really like it. I get on there as much as I can. I'm definitely not on there as much as some guys, and that's just the way it is, but I try to be a part of that group as much as I can, because I really like the positivity. And I think positive mindsets goes a long way to helping people. And, it's not all about the X's and O's of running a business. Sometimes what some guy needs to hear is, hey, man, just keep it up. Just keep up the good work. Yeah. And, a lot of times that makes a guy's day better,
Yes,
and
yes.
that makes some person's day better just by being positive. And, I hate to say it, but the negativity can really get to you. I mean, it really can.
Yeah.
And people start doubting themselves and not believing in themselves. And I think we need more uplifting groups like this to bring an overall positive vibe, and give somebody something to look forward to. And that, like I said, that's why I like this group. I just got a good vibe, and it hasn't disappointed one bit. These guys are awesome. I love the fact that we got guys from all around the world in this group. You get all kinds of different advice, different ways of doing things. And it's just an overall good group, and I'm very, very happy to be a part of it.
Awesome. So we're down to the last two questions. And the first one being, what would be your best piece of advice for somebody just starting out in the business? So this, I want you to come from the point of, this is somebody that and that you would only want the absolute best for this person. What would you tell them if they came and said, hey, Brian, I'm thinking about starting a lawn care business? What would you say to them?
I would say the first thing I would tell them is to do your research, to figure out what it takes to run a business. And even though it's just a rinky-dink lawn care business, it's still a business. And to figure out, I want them to know how much time and effort it's actually going to take to grow a business. And even though I think a lot of guys get into the business because, hey, it's easy, it's cutting lawns, whatever. But most guys don't realize the hard work and all the extra hours that you necessarily aren't getting paid for that it takes to actually keep a business going and to actually start a business. So, my best advice would be to make sure you know what you're getting into, and then have fun with it. It doesn't, just because it's a business and just because, it's, it's got the business feel, doesn't mean you can't have fun. Doesn't mean you have to be, so tightly wound that you just can't have fun. Have fun with what you're doing. If you're not having fun, you're not going to stick with it. And try new things. That's one thing. I'm in my 4th year now, and I wish I would have done so many different things as far as just trying new things. And you never know what kind of doors those are going to open up. And I've said it on this podcast 2 or 3 times now that if you don't try new things, you're going to get stuck. You just are, because there's only so many things that going into doing a business. And like me, I know how to cut a yard. I knew that before I started my business, but that's basically all I knew. I didn't know how to reseed a yard. I didn't know how to do anything like that. And you just got to try new things, and you have to find ways to do that. And you have to start getting creative on, hey, let's do this and let's do that. I want to get my hands dirty. I want to figure out how to do these things. And the more you can diversify yourself as far as the services that you offer, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Exactly, man. That's a big one. That's a huge one. I mean, it's very cliche. People say that you only learn from your mistakes, and I 100% agree with that. And too many times, especially in the social media era, people are putting off a persona that may not be 100% true, and everybody wants to be the big shot, and everybody wants to be the know-it-all. And man, there's a lot to say for a guy who goes out and tries something and fails and says, you know what, I learned a lot from this failure, and I'm going to do it 100 times better than I just did the next time I do it. And to me, that's the best way to learn.
Yeah, excellent. So last question. How can people follow you online? Or where can they find you online?
Well, YouTube, Top Notch Lawn Care on YouTube. That's kind of where I spend most of my social media time. I'm not even sure what my Instagram handle is, to be honest with you. Isn't that sad?
I'll put a link to it in the thing. I think is it Top Notch 7 or something?
Top Notch 7. Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's so sad.
Yeah, I'll put a link to it.
But yeah, Instagram. I don't really mess with Twitter a whole lot. I've been wanting to get more involved with Twitter, but my email is the best way to get a hold of me. If anybody has any questions, I seriously try to get back to everybody. Sometimes it's a week late, sometimes it's 2 weeks late, but my email is topnotchlc7@gmail.com. And, I get a lot of emails, and I try to keep up with them. And, like I said, sometimes it's a couple weeks late, but, I do try to get back with everybody. So, I love hearing people's stories on email, and people share a lot of things, and it keeps me going. And I love hearing everybody's individual stories.
Yeah, awesome. And of course, they can join Lawn Care Legends and interact in there, and echomeansbusiness.com as well, and get some of your posts in there as well. So that about wraps up all of the questions I had for you. I really do appreciate the amount of time you've given me. I know it's a lot to ask for an hour and a half or something like that to do. I think we've been here about an hour and 35 minutes now. I really do appreciate you taking the time and for keeping me sort of in the back of your mind during this year and agreeing to come on to the show.
Yeah, I appreciate it a lot. I'm very, like I said, honored that you even asked to talk to me. I mean, this might be the second podcast I've ever done. I did think I did one with Stanley a while back, but always fun to do these kind of things, and hopefully we can do it again.
Yeah, awesome. So thank you again for coming on the show. Well, there you have it, Lawn Care Nation. Hopefully you enjoyed that value-packed interview episode with Brian Shain from Top Notch Lawn Care. Brian is absolutely a great guy. As most of you guys know, if you haven't already followed or subscribed to him on YouTube, I'll put some links in the description and links in the podcast show notes there for his YouTube channel and his Instagram account, where you can find him there online. And I would encourage you guys all to subscribe to his channel on YouTube if you haven't already. Just, a top-notch guy, pardon the pun, and just a guy who's in it and sharing for all of the right reasons. So that's it for this week. Here's to wishing you guys all overwhelming success and freedom in your lawn care business. Bye for now.